Why does rest feel heavier than effort lately? My heart is not lifted up. My eyes are not raised too high. I do not occupy myself with things too great and too marvelous for me. But I have calmed and quieted my soul, like a weaned child with its mother. Like a weaned child is my soul within me. Psalm 131. There are days when effort feels familiar, almost comforting, because it gives the illusion of movement, and rest feels dangerous, because rest removes the noise that used to keep fear distracted. You wake up already tired, not because the body failed, but because the soul has been carrying itself for too long. Psalm 131 does not confront that moment with urgency. It does not tell the soul to rise, to push, to overcome. It lowers the ceiling. My heart is not lifted up. My eyes are not raised too high. This is not self-rejection. It is self-accuracy. The psalmist is not ashamed of his limits. He is naming them. There are things too vast to manage emotionally every day, questions too large to sit with continuously, futures too heavy to rehearse before they arrive, and much of modern exhaustion comes from pretending otherwise. From expanding the self to meet demands the nervous system was never designed to hold. I do not occupy myself with things too great and too marvelous for me. This line is not anti-curiosity. It is anti-self-erasure. To occupy the mind with endless magnitude is to slowly abandon the present. The psalmist chooses presence instead. But I have calmed and quieted my soul. Notice what is missing here. There is no explanation of how, no method, no steps. Calming is not achieved. It is allowed. Quieting does not mean the world grew silent. It means the soul stopped arguing with reality, stopped rehearsing outcomes, stopped defending itself against imagined futures, stopped demanding certainty before rest. Like a weaned child with its mother? This image is gentle, but it is not naive. A weaned child has already known hunger. It has already known frustration. It has already learned that comfort is not instant, and yet it stays close, not frantic, not negotiating, not trying to control the timing of care, just resting, awake, aware, held. My soul is like a weaned child within me. This is not the peace of innocence. It is the peace of experience, peace that comes after disappointment, after learning that grasping does not create safety. Some of the deepest exhaustion is not physical. It is relational. Relational with time, with expectations, with God. Trying to hold together belief and disappointment without letting either speak honestly. Psalm 131 gives permission to stop expanding, to stop inflating the self, to survive environments that reward intensity. Hope in the Lord from this time forth and forevermore. Hope here is not emotional optimism. It is orientation. It is choosing where your weight belongs. If you are listening and feel smaller than you used to, less driven, less sharp, less urgent, that does not mean you are failing. It may mean your soul is done pretending. Some maturity does not look impressive. It looks settled. The psalmist does not say his circumstances resolved. He says his interior posture changed. He no longer lifts himself to meet the world. He rests where he is held. There are people listening now who are tired of being told to trust more. They trust God. They just cannot keep carrying everything. Psalm 131 does not demand more trust. It offers less weight. Stillness is not passivity. It is restraint with dignity. Quiet does not mean absence of fear. It means fear is no longer driving. If your prayers have grown shorter, less articulate, more repetitive, that may not be regression. It may be honesty. God does not require sophistication to remain near. He does not measure faith by complexity. Sometimes the most faithful act is staying present without explanation. Hope in the Lord now, not later. not after clarity arrives. From this time forth, this tired time, this reduced time, this quieter time, the psalmist anchors hope not in outcome, but in relationship, and forevermore, not because everything will change, but because you will not be alone inside it. There is a kind of peace that only arrives when the soul stops auditioning for safety, stops explaining itself, stops proving capacity, and simply stays. If tonight your soul feels like a weaned child, not reaching, not striving, just resting, that is not emptiness. That is trust without noise, and being held without answers, without urgency, without performance is enough. And yet, staying is harder than leaving, because staying means you have to feel what you were numbing with motion. It means sitting inside unanswered questions without reshaping them into something productive. It means letting the soul feel unfinished without rushing to call it growth. Psalm 131 does not rush the quiet, it lets it deepen. There is a difference between silence and stillness. Silence is external. Stillness is internal. Silence can happen anywhere. Stillness only happens where trust is allowed to breathe. Many people know silence. Few know stillness. Because stillness asks something of you. It asks you to stop explaining yourself to God, to stop rehearsing your pain as if clarity would make it lighter, to stop turning prayer into a presentation. The psalmist does not say, "I understand now." He says, "I have quieted my soul." That is a choice, not a conclusion. A choice to stop demanding answers before allowing rest. A choice to stop asking faith to solve what it was meant to hold. There are moments when God does not give direction, because direction would keep you moving, and movement is not always what heals. Sometimes what heals is learning that nothing collapses when you stop pushing. The world teaches urgency as virtue. Move faster, respond quicker, optimize pain into progress. But the soul does not heal on deadlines. It heals in safety. And safety does not require certainty. It requires presence, like a child leaning into a chest that has proven it will not disappear. The psalmist's peace is relational, not circumstantial. He is not calm because life is gentle. He is calm because he is no longer alone inside it. My soul is like a weaned child within me. Notice the intimacy of that phrase, within me. He does not outsource peace. He notices it growing inside. Not loud, not triumphant, quiet. Some of the strongest shifts in the spiritual life are nearly invisible. No announcement, no breakthrough language, just a subtle decrease in inner resistance. You stop flinching at your own thoughts. Stop bracing for the next hit. Stop explaining why you are tired. And that alone is mercy. If you are listening and thinking, "I should be further along by now," Psalm 130, one gently removes that timeline. There is no schedule for stillness, no benchmark for resting well. Some people take years to feel safe enough to be quiet. Some souls only learn restraint after ambition has failed them. And God does not shame that process. He waits inside it, hoping the Lord. Hope is not something you manufacture. It is something you lean into when your own strength stops volunteering. Hope does not require enthusiasm. It requires direction. You turn your weight toward Him. From this time forth, not from the resolved time, not from the healed time, from now, from the tired now, the disappointed now, the reduced now, and forevermore. Because what begins in quiet does not end in abandonment. There is a lie that says, if you stop striving, you will be forgotten. Psalm 131 contradicts that lie. It says the opposite is true. When you stop lifting yourself, you become light enough to be held. Some faith looks like fire. Other faith looks like rest. And rest is not the absence of devotion. It is devotion that no longer needs spectacle. The psalmist is not trying to impress heaven. He is letting heaven hold him. If your faith feels quieter than it used to, less dramatic, less urgent, that does not mean it is dying. It may mean it is maturing. Children shout to be seen. The secure rest without noise, and the soul, once secure, does not need to announce itself. Psalm 131 is not a song of arrival. It is a song of containment, a soul learning its edges, learning where to stop, learning what it is not meant to carry, and that learning is holy. Because when the soul stops carrying what is not its own, it finally has room for God. Not God as concept, God as presence, not God as answer, God as nearness. This is the kind of peace that does not solve your life. It steadies it. It does not erase grief. It gives grief somewhere safe to sit. It does not demand joy. It allows breath. And breath is enough. If tonight you cannot pray eloquently, if all you have is quiet and fatigue, you are not behind. You are right where Psalm 131 lives. Still, held, unexplaining. And God is not waiting for you to become more impressive. He is already near. The psalm does not end with instruction. It ends with invitation. Hope in the Lord. Not because you feel hopeful, but because He is steady. Not because you are strong, but because He does not tire. Not because tomorrow makes sense, but because you are not alone inside today. If you need permission to stop pushing tonight, Psalm 131 gives it. If you need language for quiet trust, Psalm 131 offers it. If you need to rest without solving anything first, Psalm 131 stays with you there. And that staying, that unremarkable, unannounced, unspectacular staying, is faith. Amen.